Yo, this is Jay from Straight Smoke Gaming, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the NFL offseason. As you guys know, we're getting really close to the draft, and that's kind of, in my opinion, part 2 of the offseason. Part 1 is free agency. We pretty much have signed all the big free agents. You know, there's still a couple guys like, Aaron Rodgers is still out there. That's probably the best name. Still got some good guys on the defense. So there's still names to sign, but I think we've seen enough of free agency to know who winners and losers are. So let's go ahead and talk about some. Starting off first with the Chicago Bears as a winner. They really went ahead and addressed their biggest need, the offensive line. And what I like about how they did this is when you really hammer home one of your positions of need, it makes your draft pick a lot easier. So big thing with the Bears was offensive line. They went out and got Thuney, Jonah Jackson, Drew Dolman for that offensive line. That's big. That should be a whole new offensive line, protecting Caleb Williams. So I think that'll be big. That was one of the big things. He was hit a lot last year. I think it was most in the league. So if you can give him a little bit more time, that should help his development and make him a lot better. They also went ahead and added a guy like Grady Jarrett. Grady Jarrett's awesome. Really good defensive lineman. Pairing him up with Sweat will help that defense. We take a look at key losses. Keenan Allen, I guess if you want to count that, he's older. He did start for him, played a lot, came up with some big plays, but definitely not what he once was in his prime. So they should be able to fill that hole rather easy. So if you want to count that as a key loss, but other than that, they really didn't have much of a loss. Next up, the Dallas Cowboys. We got them listed as a loser. So key losses, Zach Martin. I believe he's still a free agent. So they do have a chance to bring him back. But as of right now, he's not on the roster. And then DeMarcus Lawrence, he signed with the Seahawks, so he's gone. Brandon Cook signed with the Saints, he's gone. Rico Dowdle signed with the Panthers, he's gone. So those are all guys that started for him last year. So that's big. Brandon Cooks missed some time. Rico Dowdle had a pretty good year. I don't know why they didn't try to bring him back. When you take a look at some key ads, they did have a couple. Dante Fowler Jr., he's good. Definitely not on DeMarcus Lawrence's level. Javonte Williams, I like Javonte Williams. I think he's good. Not on Rico Dowdle's level, especially if you want to take a look at last year's numbers. Robert Jones, not on Zach Martin's level, not even close. And Kyrie Elam, he's a cornerback, highly touted pick. I like that trade that they did. They didn't really give up much, and who knows, maybe they can fix him and make him a good corner like the Bills thought they could. So I don't have a problem with that move. Next up for a winner, we got the New England Patriots, and the Patriots had a really good offseason. They had a lot of money. Big thing for them is they needed to spend the money, which they did. Taking a look at some names they brought in. Stephon Diggs, that's big. Got Drake May a weapon. He's a wide receiver 1. That offense was lacking a ton of talent, so that should help there. Milton Williams, really good defensive lineman. He'll slide in there, should be perfectly fine, and that'll give that defensive line a much better, run and pass in both aspects of it, pass rush and stopping the run. When you take a look at offensive linemen, they got Morgan Moses. That's important. You want to be able to protect Drake May. Carlton Davis on the back end, that's good. That's a big corner addition that'll help in the secondary. And Harold Landry going to be pairing up with Milton Williams on the D-line. So I like the key ads. And if you take a look at the roster, they lost some guys, but none were really that important. So that's why I have key losses as none. A loser, San Francisco 49ers. This is a big list. Go ahead and pause. Take a look at some names. I'm not going to list them all, but big ones here. Travarius Ward's big. Huafunga's big. Losing him is Dre Greenlaw. Aaron Banks is a starting lineman. Debo's big. They just lost a lot of guys. These are a lot of starters. Some of them did have injury problems. There are some losses, or a lot of losses there, and they're going to have to find ways. It's going to be a next man up mentality in San Fran this year, because they're going to have a lot of holes to fill on that offense. The only key ad at the time making this video that I seen was DeMarcus Robinson. DeMarcus Robinson is honestly underrated. He's a really good wide receiver 3 and a serviceable wide receiver 2, in my opinion. Had a really good year with the Rams, and, he's honestly kind of flew under the radar. Not one of the best, but can definitely provide you with some solid reps. So I like that signing. Next winner, we have the Washington Commanders. The Commanders, similar to the Bears, they went ahead and addressed a lot of their needs and then just added big names outside of that too. So, they got Jaden Daniels. What do you want to do with that? You want to protect your quarterback. So they went ahead and traded for Laremy Tunsil. Laremy Tunsil, the best offensive lineman on the Houston. So that'll be a big ad. Maybe they could work on the penalty issue. That was a big thing with him in Houston. Had a lot of penalties, but overall, they're trying. They're addressing a need. They also addressed the need by getting him another weapon with Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel, not what he once was, but still a really good guy, sliding in as a wide receiver 2 behind Terry McLaurin. And Javon Kinlaw, not a bad D lineman. Key losses, Jonathan Allen, that's going to be big. That's a starting D lineman. Jeremy Chin, starting secondary, I believe he was a safety, so that hurts. And Dante Fowler, another starting D lineman or maybe a rotation guy. So those guys are good to lose, or they're big to lose, but you honestly, I believe the additions outweigh that. Next up, loser, we have the Steelers. Taking a look at some key losses. Losing Fields and Wilson hurt. You got to bring back one of them because now you got no clue what you're going to do at quarterback. And if it comes down to it, why wouldn't you bring back Fields? I mean, he knows the offense. He was there last year. Right now, it's looking like you're going to be stuck with Aaron Rodgers, best case scenario. So, I mean, at that point, I'd rather bring back Wilson or Fields who know the offense. Najee Harris, not a bad running back. He's serviceable. I don't know about Jalen Warren. We haven't really seen much of him. So that sucks to lose. Ojanobi, big player there. James Daniels on the O-line. So they lost a lot of big people. Want to take a look at key adds. You got DK Metcalf. That's awesome. But who's going to throw this guy the ball? I mean, you lost both your starter and backup quarterback. I would maybe let one walk and bring one back. That would make sense. But losing both is kind of pointless to me. Next up, the winner, we have the Seattle Seahawks. Honestly, pretty good offseason. Taking a look here. Sam Darnold, that's good. They brought him in. They lost Geno Smith, replaced him with Sam Darnold. That's a good replacement, in my opinion. You bring in Cooper Kupp because you lose DK Metcalf. Pretty good replacement there. He's not the same type of a receiver, and I do think Cooper Kupp still has a lot of talent left in him. When he was in LA, he just didn't really jive with the new offense. Cooper Kupp thrives as a one. Him and Puka were kind of the same receiver, so it was hard to get both of the guys the ball when they were kind of the same receiver and wanted to run the same routes. So that sucks there, but good for the Seahawks. DeMarcus Lawrence, big D lineman, and MVS, another underrated wide receiver. If you want to slide him as your wide receiver 3, that'll be good. And they lost Lakeland Tomlinson on the O-line, so that sucks. You're going to have to address O-line. But other than that, all the people they lost, I feel like they kind of addressed that in the free agency. Next up, the Jaguars. They're listed as a loser. Lost a lot of big names, Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, Andre Sisco, Mitch Morris, Brandon Scherf. He's still a free agent, so they could bring him back potentially. Ronald Darby's not a bad corner that they lost. When you take a look at the key adds, they added Patrick McCarry, offensive lineman from the Ravens, I believe it was. Jordan Lewis, I believe that was a corner from the Cowboys. And Eric Murray. The ads are all right, but when you take a look here, they definitely have a hole here on the offense. They lost 2 linemen, a starting tight end, and their wide receiver 1 before he got hurt, and Brian Thomas kind of stepped in. So, I definitely think here in the draft, it's big that they go offense, whether it's a tight end or a wide receiver. They lost a lot. They have their quarterback. You would think that you would want to give him weapons that would help and all that, not get rid of them. But that was kind of the offseason that they had. So those are my winners and losers. This is opinion-based. Go ahead, comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Maybe there's a big team that I forgot about as a winner or a loser. I like seeing that stuff. And, honestly, there's a lot of good free agents still out there. If someone goes and signs Aaron Rodgers, that could make them a winner. But at this point, that's what I have as winners and losers. So when it comes to this video, that's all I got. So if you enjoyed, please remember to like and sub for more football content. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.